Welcome to video number 14. This video gives the answers to the questions that were raised in the previous video. For the first question, we asked why did iTrain report 3 centimeters instead of 0 centimeters when the train first entered into this east block? Well, it's because of the feedback offset that we defined for this particular locomotive, the Class 33. We are using occupancy sensors on our blocks, so if this is the east block here and the train is just entering into this east block, the feedbacks will not be triggered until the pickup wheels on the loco first touch the rails of block E. And in the locomotive definition here, we told iTrain that there is a 2.5 centimeter offset between the front of the loco and the first pickup wheel. So when the train entered into block E and the feedback was triggered, iTrain knew that there was 2.5 centimeters ahead of this wheel that it needed to take into account, and it rounds the figure up to 3 centimeters, which is why we saw the 3 centimeters. For the second question, we said that this block here with the blue outline around it is responsible for releasing these turnouts when the whole of the train has entered in this block. And we know that the train length, the total train length, is 58.5 centimeters. So we expected the turnouts here to be cleared when the position reported here reached 58 to 59 centimeters. But it did not clear at that value. It cleared when it reached a value of around 65 centimeters. The clue is in the block properties. So if we go up to the block, we right click on it, we go to properties and then block E, and the answer is this parameter here called margin. You can just see the value there of 5.7 centimeters. If we look at the definition of margin in the user manual, it says the margin is the extra space necessary to compensate for differences in the stop positions for different trains. There is a default value for the margin based on the block type, but you can override it. The table here shows the margin values for the different types of block, and the values will vary depending on the scale of your layout. These are the default values that iTrain automatically applies. You can change them by clicking on that margin field in the block properties, and then you can create your own margins should you wish. So when iTrain reported the 65 centimeters in our example, it was using the train length of 58.5 centimeters plus the margin value of 5.7 centimeters, which we took from this siding value and the 00 scale. That equals 64.2 centimeters rounded up to 65. And lastly, when we reversed the train back into the west siding, we saw an initial value of 40 centimeters reported here when the train first entered into this block. So the question was, why is it a value of 40 centimeters and not 3 centimetres like we saw when the train was travelling into the east block? Well, the answer is due to the direction and orientation of the train as it enters in the block. It's due to the fact that we're using occupancy sensors in the block. The block is represented by this black line here. And it's due to the position of the first pickup wheel that enters the block. We were shunting the train back into the west block, so the train is travelling backwards with the wagons in front of it this way. Our block, represented by the black line here, contains an occupancy sensor, and that sensor will not be triggered until the first conducting wheel of the train touches the track as it enters the block. The total train length is 58.5 centimetres. It's made up of a wagon length of 38 centimetres and the locomotive length of 20.5 centimetres. And in the locomotive definition, we set a feedback offset value of 2.5 centimetres. So when the train enters into this block, the first part of the train to enter it is the rear of the wagons here. So the train will travel into the block, the whole length for the wagons, plus the 2.5 centimetres for the feedback offset, giving us a total of 40.5 centimetres. So when the train is 40.5 centimetres into the block, that is when the conducting or pickup wheels on this locomotive first touch the track on the block. If we stopped the train when it first entered the block, this is what the block properties would be reporting for that west block. So its position in the next direction, this direction, is 169 centimetres from the start of the block this end, which actually takes it outside of the 150 centimetre length of the block itself. So this part of the train here is on the turnout that enters into the block, and then this portion of the train is the portion that it's reporting actually in the block. Now, if the coaches or wagons here had any method of consuming current, for example, if they had coach lighting, or if any of the axles had a resistor across them, then iTrain would show occupancy immediately that the first conducting axle of the train touched the track as it entered the block. And just like in the loco definition where we set a feedback offset, when you define the coaches or wagons, there is a similar feedback offset setting which you need to make if any of your coaches or wagons have conducting axles. So that's it for this video. I hope the questions helped you gain a better understanding. Understanding these figures may not be critical to using iTrain, but they are important and should not be ignored. They are used to get the train to stop correctly on the layout. Being able to interpret the figures will help you in situations, for example, when a train does not fit into a siding, or why a train just suddenly stops. So I hope it was all useful. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.